Good evening, this is Meteorologist James Longwith here with Dynamic Weather Agency LLC. Today I'm going to be giving you guys a quick tropical update of what's going on in the tropical Atlantic. So let's get into today's video. Now again, taking a look at some of our headlines for today's video. Again, we're going to be going over some of those seasonal stats for the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. We're going to go into a little bit of climatology today. Again, taking a look at some of those National Hurricane Center products, mainly the tropical outlook for the next 5 days. And then we'll be taking a look at, some of those tropical formation parameters that we take a look at, sea surface temperatures, deep layer wind shear, Saharan dust that we have kind of moving on into the tropical Atlantic that we've been talking about in our previous videos. And then we're going to take a look at Invest 92L. Now, taking a look at the 2021 hurricane season names, as you can see, we have pretty much crossed off for the majority, all the names for the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. The last big storm system we were talking about was Major Hurricane Sam that has, dissipated now as it moved northward and became an extratropical cyclone, accompanied some of that wind shear. It started paralleling the polar front jet, and again, like we said, also was moving into some cooler waters. We did see Teresa for a very short time, and same thing with Victor. Victor moved north, as we were mentioning in our last video, accompanied a little bit of shear and also some of that dry air with that Saharan dust moving over the Eastern Atlantic. Now, all we have left for the 2021 hurricane season names is Wanda left on our list, and as I mentioned in our previous videos, this isn't the first time that we've ever, ran through all the hurricane season names, and we did that back in 2005. We moved over to the Greek alphabet afterwards. We did that again last year in 2020, where we had a record-breaking hurricane season, and like I mentioned in our previous videos, the Greek alphabet and the Greek names for hurricanes have basically been retired. The World Meteorological Organization basically was talking about how there was some confusion with translating some of those names into other languages, and also there was no plan to retiring any of those names. And Iota and Eta last year were severe enough storms that their names were retired, and thus reusing them would be deemed inappropriate because we don't reuse names once we retire storms for their destructive nature that they're able to do. So for the 2021 hurricane season, we moved over to a new supplemental naming list. These are the new supplemental names for the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. And you can see there's quite a few names on here. There's another 21 names added to the
severe thunderstorm warning for West Central Cassia County in southeastern Idaho.
And let me turn off the these warnings are coming on in. So we got some of these active warnings coming on in. For the stats for the season, we've had 20 named storms. 7 of them have been hurricanes, and 4 of those 7 hurricanes were considered major hurricanes. Still, so far, the running total for fatalities is around 158, and the total damage is still estimated at $55.178 billion for the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. Now, taking a look at NOAA's forecast, they were expecting 15 to 21 named storms with an average of 14. That's a 30-year average. So far this year, we're at 20, so we're well above average for named storms for the Atlantic hurricane season. As for hurricanes, 7 to 10 was forecasted by NOAA for this hurricane season. The average is 7. We're sitting still right at that average. And then for major hurricanes, 3 to 5 was forecasted from the NOAA earlier this year with an average of 3. And so far we're sitting at 4. So we're just slightly above average for our 2021 hurricane season. Now, taking a look at that climatology, the peak max of hurricane season is typically around September 10th. We're well over that. We're going to see sort of a decline in hurricane activity, but like I said, this is the second half of the season. We kind of seen a little bit of delay this hurricane season, so it's been more active past September 10th, but like I said, we still have about another third of hurricane season left as we move through the rest of October, much of November, and even into early parts of December. We'll still have to look out for hurricanes. Taking a look at hurricane frequency and the tracks for October, the Caribbean and the Gulf and even along the eastern coast of the United States is the most favorable areas for climatologically speaking for hurricane development in the month of October. So far, as you'll see as we move in a little bit later on, we do have favorable conditions in a lot of these areas. We do have those nice warm ocean waters, but the shear and complexes of thunderstorms developing over these regions just haven't been favorable for a little bit. So we'll have to continue to monitor that for some favorable conditions, which we are seeing a slight area along the eastern coast of the Carolinas. More about that here in just a little bit. Now, taking a look at our tropical outlook, this is a National Hurricane Center tropical formation outlook for the Atlantic and even parts of the western Pacific. So along the eastern Pacific, along the western coast of the United States. You can see we have this nice area located off the Carolinas. Low confidence for tropical formation over the next 5 days. Over the next 48 hours, tropical development is around 20%, and over the next 5 days, it's looking around 30%, according to the National Hurricane Center. There is a high area of tropical development along the Central Americas, but we'll have to continue to monitor that over the next coming days. So taking a look at our sea surface temperatures, as I mentioned in previous videos, that magical number is around 26 degrees Celsius, which is around 80 degrees Fahrenheit for tropical development. As you can see, as we take a look at the Gulf region, we have temperatures right now approaching around 30 degrees Celsius, which is around 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So favorable ocean water conditions over the Gulf of Mexico region, even around the Caribbean. You can even see the Gulf Stream moving up the eastern coast of Florida and around the Carolinas. You can see that transporting warm tropical water poleward up through the Gulf Stream region. Even favorable temperatures in the central Atlantic and even across the eastern Atlantic, where we have those tropical waves come off of the eastern coast of Africa. Western coast of Africa. Now, as we talked before in that climatology, why is there that seasonal lag? Why is hurricane season more active as we move in towards the fall? Well, it goes back to that specific heat that we're talking about in previous videos. Specific heat is defined as the amount of energy that is needed to raise an object, in this case water, 1 degree Celsius or 1 degree Kelvin. As we mentioned, it takes a lot of energy to be able to heat up this ocean water. So it takes a lot of time for that to occur. So it takes most of spring and all summer for that to occur, peaking in the late summer, early fall, and then it has a seasonal lag for some of that heat to be able to be released from the ocean, which is why hurricane season could go so far into November and even December, because it takes a while for that heat to then be released from the ocean. Now, as we mentioned before, it's not only important for the ocean waters to be warm at the surface, but up to a certain depth. As we mentioned before in previous videos, we want it to be around 26 degrees Celsius at about 200 feet below the ocean surface. This is due to upwelling of ocean waters with these tropical systems. If you upwell cool waters, it's going to then be below that 26 degrees Celsius, which is around that favorable temperature for tropical development, and then it's going to kind of choke off the storm system. Now, as we take a look at this map right here, this is showing where that 26 degree isotherm is in depth in meters. So 200 feet is roughly about 60 meters below the ocean surface. So anywhere in those greens is technically 200 feet or more below the ocean surface as you start moving into those yellows, oranges, and even those reds. And you can see some of that ocean water along the tropical Atlantic region is favorable up to 200 feet below the ocean surface for tropical development. You can see, up to 150 to 175 meters below the ocean surface south of Cuba and the Caribbean island region. You can see how just warm some of these ocean waters are across this region. Now, taking a look at our shear tendency over the past 24 hours, so you can see over the tropical Atlantic, lots of increasing wind shear with those white isotachs that we have over much of the region, indicating how much the shear has increased over in knots over the past 24 hours. And you can see we have a lot of increasing wind shear out of the northeast due to nice deep upper level troughs moving out of the region, and due to our strengthening subtropical jet over the eastern Atlantic around the high pressure that's located over this area. Again, taking a look at our tropical cyclone formation and intensification classifications over much of the tropical Atlantic, unfavorable wind shear conditions due to, like I said, increasing horizontal and vertical wind shear due to some of these upper level troughs moving on through the region. Not only that, we do have a lot of Saharan dust moving over a lot of the eastern tropical Atlantic and over parts of the central tropics. So that's going to be inducing a lot of dry air on over this region, which is going to be unfavorable for tropical cyclone formation over at least the next couple of days. Now, taking a look at our GO16 IR satellite imagery, we're not really tracking much over the next couple of days. We do have an area of complex of thunderstorms off of the Carolina coast where we have that Invest 92L that we'll have to continue to watch. Now, taking a look at Invest 92L in the Atlantic, again, in the low-level clouds, you can see this broad area of low-level circulation about 100 nautical miles off the coast of South Carolina. You can see most of the thunderstorm activity is confined to the east, indicating that we do have strong shear present over this area, pushing all the convective clouds away from the low-pressure circulation. Now, taking a look at the spaghetti models for Invest 92L, those spaghetti models are kind of all over the place over the next couple of days for the track of where this low pressure system is likely to move. Now, taking a look at the model intensity guidance for Invest 92L, you can see a couple of members, about half the members indicating that Invest 92L within the next 24 to 48 hours could reach tropical storm intensity. While most of the other members, just a little more than half of the members, are indicating that this system will probably not even reach tropical storm intensity, so maybe a tropical depression at most. Now, taking a look at deep layer wind shear along the western Atlantic, eastern coast of the United States, along the Carolinas, where we have Invest 92L. We do have this subtropical jet moving over the southeastern portions of the United States, and this nice deep upper level trough that you can see moving on in, pushing on through the eastern United States, as increasing some of that vertical and horizontal wind shear across the area, along with some increasing curvature vorticity and curvature shear as that trough system and that trough axis moves over the area. And as we saw in the IR satellite imagery, we're seeing some of that wind shear already impacting Invest 92L, with that convective banding being confined to the eastern quadrant of this tropical cyclone system, or this area of development that we're interested in along the eastern coast of the United States. Now, the main threat for this tropical system, if it does form, is going to be the potential for some heavy rain along the eastern coast of North Carolina. You can see this tight precipitation gradient along the eastern coast, where we can see anywhere from 1 inch to 3 inches of heavy rainfall along the eastern coast of North Carolina, depending on the track of this low pressure system. Again, I would like to thank you guys for checking out today's video. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Be sure to check us out on social media and our website, dynamicweatheragency.com, and down below is the link to our Patreon page to help support this channel, so again, I could continue to make videos and content like this for you guys. I'm Meteorologist James Longwith signing off for today. You guys have a great and wonderful day.